Hey everyone, Sam here at ModelChili Scale Models, and all the way back on the 9th of September 2015 I uploaded my very first YouTube video. So to commemorate the last 5 years of YouTube activity, I thought I would do something that's been long requested, and it is a tour of my setup, studio, model room, pile of shame. I've been a bit reluctant to do this in the past just because it's a bit of an amateur setup. It's just a spare bedroom and it's always in a bit of a state, so I've made a bit of an effort. I've cleaned up, and so now I'm ready to pull back the curtain and show you guys how it's all done. So yeah, here we go. So this is the view that you usually get when I'm doing a build. And so here's the tripod that I use to attach the phone, and it's just got a simple sliding attachment with a spring just to clasp the phone in place. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. It's a travelling tripod, so the feet unscrew and they fold up into the base, and I've had that since the year 2000, I think. It's been around the world a few times, that's for sure. And yeah, so this is the desk that I use. It's just a pretty simple, straightforward white sturdy table, and there's the backdrop and the two LED lamps that I use to illuminate all my builds. And so these just have 3 dim functions, and yeah, they're pretty effective. I can just move them around a little bit. The setup's not, perfect. I don't have an overhead camera, and this does get in the way quite often when I'm doing detailed work. So that's why it can be quite difficult to record some things. And I can't do any can spraying here. So you'll see I've just primed this Bandai Super Star Destroyer. I usually have to spray cans outside because there's no ventilation here. So it would get quite smelly and quite messy if I was to start using spray cans. Alright, so just having a brief spin around. We'll have a closer look in a minute, but yeah, it's a pretty small room. This is actually the second house that I've lived in since starting YouTube, so this is studio number 2. It's a little bit smaller than my previous setup, but not too much smaller. It's pretty similar, except the last one had a spare bed, which doesn't quite fit in this room. But over here, so let's start with my pile of shame. So here's various kits in various states. Some of these have been started, so for example, Babylon 5, the Runabout, both of those have been started. Sometimes I just get distracted or just come across a really difficult part, and sometimes I just don't have the energy or motivation to keep on with a particular build, so I'll just box it up and put it away until I've got the right headspace to continue it. So sometimes I do stop and start various kits, but I do usually finish them in the end. So yeah, so hopefully I'll get through all of these at some point. I really want to get onto these battle stars, that's for sure. And another hobby is Lego building. So most of those haven't been built yet. Some of them have. Still got to do the Saturn. I've got the lunar lander, the ISS. Some of my partner's Lego. Lots of Star Wars Lego, of course. Saving those for a super rainy day. And yeah, a couple of lightsabers. So this is Anakin's Saber from episode 3. I've had this since 2005 when it first came out. It's always a bit of fun. And Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Yeah. And so here's the display shelf, so I've just got various bits and pieces. Bit of Lego up there, nice gunship. And my Doctor Who collection, so these are the character options, TARDISes and figures. I've actually got all of the Doctors, but I prefer to keep most of them away just so I can see the TARDISes. So I'll usually just rotate the Doctors around, so these are the ones I have up at the moment. Old number 7, 12 and 13. And so I got the first Doctor's TARDIS, number 4, 7, 10, 11-12 and 13, which is a custom paint job using the 11th Doctor's TARDIS. And I also scratch built those Ray-Bans for the 12th Doctor, just to give him a bit of a character. Yeah, so here's the Star Wars shelf, so I've got all of my Bandai figure kits. Also a sneaky Padme in the back there, but that's just Black Series. All the rest are Bandai, including the two 1/6 scale Stormtroopers, 12-inch, and again just a bit more Lego. I do like to collect the Jedi Starfighters, so I've got those three. I've got Mace Windows. I've also got Obi-Wans with the hyperdrive ring, which is currently stashed away. But yeah, I've got quite a few now. Yeah, a bit of Clone Wars stuff. Yeah, knockoff Lego Bob Ross, which was a birthday present. And my lovely Enterprises that I built a while ago. And yeah, so down here we've got some Eagle Moss Star Trek stuff. I've actually got quite a huge collection of Eagle Moss starships, and they're on a different shelf in the main living room. So maybe I'll do a video on those sometime. But I've usually just got Federation stuff on display, so I've just got a couple of leftover alien ships, in this case a couple of Cardassian cruisers, and a Borg cube, and a Bandai Y-Wing, and coming on to the armour, which I've not done in a long time, any tanks or armoured vehicles. So there's mainly World War II collection, and my Bandai Dreadnought from Space Battleship Yamato, and the Normandy from Mass Effect. That's a die-cast collectible, I think that's from Dark Horse. And tucked away down here is the Space Battleship Yamato itself, gathering lots of dust. And in this box is actually the Bandai Perfect Grade Falcon, which needs to go to its client eventually. And in here I've just got a collection of plastic die-cast tanks that I've collected years and years ago. So lots of modern armour there. And quite a bit of World War II stuff in there. All 1/7 scale. Not actually sure what to do with these. I kind of want to sell them. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, so moving on, I've got a couple of photos with me with some Star Trek actors that make it all the way down to conventions in Christchurch. So it's always nice to go along to see them and support them, because it's quite a journey down here. It's always nice to see them. And here's another one of my passions, Formula 1. So these are all 1/43 scale resin die-casts. I usually collect cars from when I started following Formula 1 back in 2005, 2004. So lots of stuff from 2008, 2007, and then a few of the modern ones. Yeah, they're beautiful models. They're unfortunately really expensive, especially in New Zealand, but well worth it. This brand is one of the cheaper brands which I can get from China, so it's always nice to get some affordable ones. So here are the Space Marines that I finished recently, and a bit more Lego from a recent collection, just the minifig bags. And these are really cool. It's a medieval knight and a Viking warrior. And so down on my computer desk I've just got Captain Sisko cross stitch made by my sister. Now that is Pizza Morty, I think. My partner painted that, so don't ask me. I'm not really a big Rick and Morty fan. Gimli, a few figurines. Now these are cool. These are I think these are Star Wars wargaming miniatures. So we've got Dooku, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Darth Talon, I think her name is. She looks pretty cool. And a flag here. Can anyone guess what that flag is? I will be pretty impressed if you can tell me where that flag comes from. Just one clue, it's not a country. And oh, just ignore that. Yeah, so here is one of the first models I showed off on this channel, the big E USS Enterprise, in its custom made Perspex box, which cost a pretty penny, I can tell you that. So it's been kept nice and dust free for the last 5 years, which is nice. Good as the day I finished it. And I've also put in there the USS Essex that I finished a few months ago, which is 1:700 scale and the Enterprise is 1:350, so the Essex is like half scale, so it's not actually that small. But I thought I should keep this one dust free as well because it's quite intricate. And yeah, so we've got a few starships up here, so the Bandai Star Destroyer, the Mobius models, Galactica, and another big Enterprise, Polar Lights. Again, this is one of the very first models that I showed off and one of the very first models I built. But of course I've been making models on and off pretty much my whole life, but I didn't really start making them seriously until 2015, which is when I bought my first airbrush, and when I started taking it really seriously and started the YouTube channel. So that's when I built this thing, and also the big Enterprise. And yeah, so speaking of airbrush, here's the one that I use. Just basically just a really cheap, no-brained compressor, one of the cheapest I could find. It's just got a pressure regulator, a water trap in the airbrush itself. Again, it's just a cheap, no-brand thingy. It's costs about $15–20 online, and when these break or get clogged up beyond cleaning, I just chuck it and buy a new one. So I've never really used any of the fancy branded airbrushes, but I'll get around to investing on one of these days, because I get so sick of cleaning these things out. They clog so easily. But yeah, they're pretty cheap and disposable, and that's just what I've used in the last 5 years. Seems to work for me. And so this is where I keep all of the tools and equipment. Pretty messy, that one. It's just like putties and tapes and needles and bits and pieces. Here is all my figure kit stuff. Customizing figures. Here I've got all of my washes, pigments, some glues, a bit of primer, weathering stuff, thinners, just general fluids, super glue, and all of my paint is down here. So that's all the Vallejo stuff. As you can see, it's just complete chaos. I don't order it in any way, so just looking for a particular grey can take me a few minutes, but I really should get organised one of these days. And standing a collection of Citadel Paints there, so all of the white capped stuff is Model Colour, all of the black stuff is Model Air. So the white stuff is for brush painting and black is for airbrushing, but you can pretty much mix those up as you see fit. And just bits and pieces in there like sandpaper and sponges and hammers and tools and all sorts. Yeah, there's another kit in progress, just ignore that one. And yeah, so moving on to the desk itself, so I've just got all my brushes, all the tools that I regularly use, cleaning fluids, water, thinners, cotton buds, glue, tape. So this is just stuff that's out because I've got a kit in progress. This usually looks a bit tidier between builds. And so yeah, so that's my modelling space. It's not that professional and it's not very well organised, but I tend to make it work. I know where everything is. Everything's at arm's reach. So yeah, it works for me. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. And yeah, the last 5 years has been it's been really cool. I've just been blown away by the enthusiasm and the kindness of the model building community. It's one of the best ones on YouTube, I reckon. I hardly get any sort of hate mail, so that's always nice. So a big thank you from me for the last 5 years to all of my subscribers and viewers and well-wishers. It's been a lot easier with your support. Yeah, so here's to the next 5 years. So thanks for watching, and until next time, keep those desks clean.